everyone, how are you doing? Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and time wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola, Guy, Mama Mia, the chickens. All of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome. As you know, we are biased, petty, and everything else. We absolutely embrace all our imperfections. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Anyways, welcome everyone. Again, happy Saturday. I'm very happy. Although, I'm working. I'm sure many, especially if you're in the US, even though it's Saturday, many of us work, on weekends. So it's not really a day off for us. Maybe other parts of the world where Saturdays and Sunday, I know how I was raised. On Sunday, everybody is off. Sunday is a day of rest. Sunday is a day to go to church. And not so much here. Sunday is, you go to church in the morning, you work in the evening, on a Sunday. And Saturday, you may or may not have off depending on the job you have. But normally, pretty much a lot of us, probably the majority of Americans, work on Saturdays. So whether it's a rest day or a work day for you, hope you are having fun doing it. Anyways, our faves are, not really quiet. They've been doing fun stuff, really impacting stuff, really inspiring stuff the last few days. And obviously yesterday we talked a lot about, Archetypes, and then the wonderful initiative that came out of Archetypes, and very, very exciting. We've been sharing it a lot on social media, on Twitter, and I'm assuming the other social media platforms where, again, I don't really follow royal stuff on other platforms other than Twitter and here at YouTube. But hopefully everyone, I think everybody's been sharing it. But also, I actually put the link in the show notes so that we, in our community, if you have a 14 to 18-year-old, they can, they can nominate a woman who needs a financial boost, someone who's experiencing financial insecurity right now, and be able to get a boost of $1,000. So again, the link will be in the show notes at the end of this broadcast, or maybe by the time you hear it, because this will be a video drop, not a live. And so by the time you hear this, it most likely would already be in the show notes. So you can just go ahead and click on it, or just send it to a friend, a family that have teenagers that would like to be a part of this. It's a great way to get, again, for this organization Ving, they have been doing and getting teenagers interested and really be a part of philanthropy at a young age. It's such a wonderful thing for them to be able to be a part of that. So also, the link is also right now in our community page as well, because I put the link in there so that way you can go check it out from Archwell and also from Ving. So kudos. I am so excited about this. I know Archwell president, she actually did, I think it was her stories that she had it on there. She's like, wow, I love this this initiative so much. And I was trying to get it today, but it already, stories are 24 hours. So by the time I went to get it today, it was already gone. So it's like, oh shoot. So I should have filled it in yesterday when I saw it. At least someone posted it, and I don't remember who posted it. So I didn't know where to go to try to find it. But anyways, Mandana Diani was supporting it, so it's great. She's Archwell president, so of course. So anyways, so once again, go ahead, nominate, have your teenagers or friend, the family, teenagers who'd like to participate in it, nominate a woman who needs a financial boost. It would be absolutely, absolutely amazing for them. So anyways, moving on. And again, oh my gosh, Archwell, Archetypes coming back on Tuesday. Obviously, it's Saturday and I'm counting down to Tuesday already. It's like, okay. It is so funny. Royal _ reporter, she has a poll going on her feed, on Twitter feed, as to what we think the topic is going to be. So there are a few the W word, the B word, the angry black woman trope, and there was something else that I think she has there that we are people are voting to see what the other topic. I chose the angry black woman because that's the one I want to see, or maybe she'll leave that to the end. I could see that being a topic, being the last topic that she chooses. But either way, I don't because she didn't give us a teaser, so we don't know what's dropping. We don't know what's coming on. And so again, again, it's Saturday, but I am counting down to Archetypes Tuesday. Lord willing, he keeps us alive and gives us strength. We will have Archetypes Tuesday, and of course, we'll be talking about it as well. So anyways, awesome to look forward to. And even though our girls podcast was, off for 3 weeks, it's bounced back. It's going up the charts in someone. In the US right now, it's at number 4. I have to watch. Apparently, Kim Kardashian's podcast is great. It's number 1. I mean, she has a massive audience, and so I think it's about law and the criminal justice system, I think. And so I'm actually going to listen to that because I think she's been actually doing really great work and getting people. And I know she got Donald Trump to release from prison 2 or 3 people, I think, probably more. And so I think her podcast is about that. And so I mean, whatever you want to think of Kim Kardashian, it just, I applaud her for the work she's doing. I know she was studying law. I don't know. I didn't keep up as to, if she passed, or I don't know if she did the exam yet or not. But I know this is an area that's really passion for her, and really, so kudos to her. I gotta say, you go, girl. It's wonderful to see women tackling really, really important issues. And so I'm gonna listen to her podcast as well. Right now, her podcast is number 1. Right, number 1 in those big markets that we've been focusing on, as you can see. And Meghan, after 3-week layoff in the US, it's now number 4. In Australia, number 5. In New Zealand, number 3. Canada is number 3, and UK is number 6. That's for top podcasts in these countries. And some of the countries is a little bit lower down, but yeah, again, after a 3-week layoff, and so I am really, really excited to see that. And what's very interesting too is, before Archetypes came on, Joe Rogan he was at the top of every single thing. And now to see whether it's Archetypes or Kim Kardashian, to see women knocking him off, I am just like, for me, it's just very exciting to watch. Very, very exciting to watch. And again, after being off for 3 weeks, seeing Archetypes come right back into the top 5, and in the case of the UK now it's top 6. It's just really exciting. It's a really exciting thing to see. And so very excited to see, again, whatever topic comes up next week, I'm sure would be awesome. And if you're looking in terms of, say, society and culture, which it has in the US market and also in the UK market, Archetypes is number 1. That's the tag it's under, society and culture. And it's been number 1 since it came out. So it hasn't changed from being number 1 in the society and culture section. So kudos to Archwell. And so I am thinking if it's the angry black woman trope next one, that'll be big, because a lot of us would be on that one. So so whatever is that wonderful surprise that we'll have next Tuesday, I'm all game and here for it. So anyways, I'm a little obsessed. I'm sure the majority of us have watched Archetypes. Oh, I keep saying watch, but listen to it or read it, because you could just go ahead and read the transcripts like numerous times. I know I've listened to it numerous times, and it was yesterday. The day before, I was just walking and just listened to it again. And I'm like, how many times am I going to listen to these podcasts? But the great thing about it too is, like, not just listen, share it with friends and family so that they can, hear it as well, and they can be part of the goodness of Archetypes. So anyways, that is all awesome. So moving on from our faves and whatever they're doing in California, um, you know, moving on from them and their wonderfulness over there, we have. I ran into this and I was just like, okay, so water is wet here. I saw this story yesterday and I was going to talk about it yesterday. I was like, okay, I'll just do it tomorrow. It's from a story from Independent. David Dimbleby is so funny. When I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute, Jonathan Dimbleby. And I was like, oh no, David Dimbleby. Different person. I don't know if he's related to Jonathan. I didn't check. Maybe they're relatives of some kind. I didn't check. And if you don't know, Jonathan Dimbleby is the one who wrote the Prince of Wales, where he wrote with Prince Charles, and when they wrote all that stuff, bad stuff about his the Queen. So yeah, that one is Jonathan Dimbleby. This is David Dimbleby. So David Dimbleby says David Dimbleby has claimed that the BBC does not appropriately question the royal family's power. The veteran broadcaster returned to the BBC last month to help present their coverage of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. However, Dimbleby has now said that the corporation has an old sore about the monarchy and will not go near controversial topics such as the palace's ability to change tax legislations and the fact that the Duchy of Cornwall doesn't pay capital gains tax or inheritance tax for that matter. For example, as Prince Charles is not going to have to pay inheritance tax and all that money and stuff that the Queen left him when she passed away. He doesn't have to pay inheritance tax on that. Everybody else in the UK have to do it, but he doesn't. Unreal. But anyway, moving on, it says Dimbleby also said that when returning to the BBC for the Queen's funeral coverage, he was shocked to see the levels of control that Buckingham Palace had over what was and wasn't broadcast. However, Dimbleby recalls emails arriving almost simultaneously from Buckingham Palace dictating which clips of footage could not be shown in future broadcasts. And it is, I mean, the whole headline is that the BBC is afraid of Buckingham Palace. And for me, that was like, yeah, well, that's like, water is wet or, fish swim in the ocean. That's a given, right? I mean, if we've seen and we've talked about, numerous times, but it's interesting, that he is shocked. And again, as I talked about the last episode, whenever somebody tells from the British press telling me they're shocked at anything the royal family does, I tend to not believe them. I'm like, you've been around this thing for most of your life. You are shocked at anything coming from the royal family? Like, just, and again, I've only started with this in 2019 and literally nothing they do shock me. The only thing that had shocked me, as I've talked about before, is just William throwing his mother under the bus. That's the only thing that has ever shocked me about the royal family. That I would have not have guessed that would have happened. That's the only thing that's ever shocked me. But I mean, again, we saw it with the documentary they were doing about leaking from the palace and all of that stuff, and we saw the royal family throwing a fit about that and them doing some edits and all of that stuff, and we've seen them cave to the royal family over and over and over. So this is not shocking at all. We've talked about this before, where they wanted that French outlet basically outed all the things that the royal family wanted to cut out of the for future broadcasts. But, he's saying that he was shocked at what they wanted and didn't want broadcast, I guess, during the live, what they didn't want to see. But, some of the things that they don't want in the future broadcast is, for example, Eugenie and Beatrice leaving the St. George's Chapel early. And from an editor's perspective, if it's a funeral and, like I edit stuff, yeah, that would be a little distracting to see, Beatrice and Eugenie leaving. So I can understand from an editor's point of view, yeah, I probably would leave that part out. But the other parts where it's like, they were saying like, Prince Charles crying, or the Wessexes crying, or Prince George scratching his nose, or whatever it is, whether it was tears or just scratching his nose. And there was like a spider on the flowers, and those little, I mean, it just, for me, made the whole thing more normal and more like, real people. But they don't want to come across as real people, apparently, and they don't want any of those things. So they had they have all of these things that they want cut out of the broadcast. And so he was like, he was shocked to see the level of control. And then it goes back to, it's like, if you have all this control over what is broadcast and what is written about your family, how do you explain Meghan, you allowing the press to do what they did to Meghan, right? If you weren't in bed with them, how do you explain that? How do you explain what you're still allowing the press to do to your son and his daughter, his wife and family? How do you explain that if you have all of this control? And you could, again, the invisible contract, or very visible contract, I should say, So again, it goes back to as Meghan said, they would lie to protect, themselves, but they wouldn't tell the truth to protect her and Harry. It's the same thing we're seeing here. It's like, if they can do this much dictating to the news outlets, and I know some of them are fighting this, but if you have this much control, how come you didn't protect, Harry and Meghan when they have been brutalized? I mean, the press has been going over a cliff for the last 6 years, however, and nothing. They have done nothing. They're saying, no, this isn't enough. No, they have allowed the press to basically, and they're still doing it, to seek to destroy Harry and Meghan. And it's unreal. But again, he's saying, the BBC is afraid to go after them for taxes. I mean, a lot of the press would not go after them about things. They would rather come at the Sussexes, who are not taking taxpayers' fund and they are not funding in any way. They would rather go after the Sussexes than go after the royal family. And it's just like, yeah, just unreal. And not only did they, again, they have as we talked about with the Queen's consent, and, they have the ability to change tax legislations. We know, from the Queen's consent, etc., that, if stuff isn't going there, if there's a law there that doesn't benefit them in some way, they would withhold consent until they either change the law or whatever, or they get an exemption of some kind. From, if it's something that would be negative towards them. So we've talked about this before. So none of this is surprising, if you're in the squad. I mean, we talk about this in the squad all the time, so none of this should be surprising, but it's just very interesting to hear it from one of their own. So, and it's interesting that, and I'm glad he's talking about it. So more and more people would hear, but, the Independent is not as widely, distributed as the other big, the big name papers. So very few people, unless you read the Independent, you'll probably see the story. I know Scobie tweeted it as well, but very few people might see the story. So how it is in the UK, unfortunately. And I saw this and I had to laugh. Because, so a couple of days ago, I think it was, what is today, the 8th? I forgot what day is today. I think today is the 8th. Well, I think this was yesterday, actually. So I saw this pop up. England Rugby, as we know, Prince Harry used to be the patron for the rugby. And since he left, they took back their patron, well, whatever, the whole thing with patronage and stuff, and giving back patronages and all that stuff. Well, anyways, since Harry is no longer, Kate has been given the patronage for the English rugby team. So Kate, they're apparently doing, I guess it's a World Cup, I'm assuming. I don't pay attention to rugby, so I think it's like for the women. I think it's like the World Series or something in rugby, and it's being played in New Zealand. So yesterday, Kate decided to, and they were all celebrating it. Different press is celebrating. Oh, it's her first speech since she became Princess of Wales or whatever, and her first public, speech, I guess. And it is to her patronage, England Rugby. So they posted this message, and it's like, good luck, a special good luck message for the Red Roses, which is the name of the female rugby team, from our patron, the Princess of Wales. And part of, it was not long at all, but part of what she said is that, she adds that she will be setting my alarm early to cheer the team on as they compete in New Zealand. Good luck for the weeks ahead. So, and part of it, she talks about bringing the cup home to England and all of that stuff. So, like, okay, fine, okay, she's the patron of the rugby team, so okay, she did a little pep talk for them to go ahead and win the cup for England. The only problem with that is this part. So you probably have seen this from Wales before, Nation Cymru, and that is Wales. The news agency there says that the news service for the people of Wales, for the people of Wales. And so this is a Wales news outlet. It says the new Princess of Wales has sent pre-World Cup message, so that's the World Cup of Rugby, the women's, urging England team to bring the cup home. And when you read on, you understand why this is a little bit of a problem. It says the new Princess of Wales has sent a pre-World Cup message in support. She sent a pre-World Cup message of support to the England rugby team. Kate, who is the patron of the England rugby team, said that she would be cheering you on all the way and urge England to bring the cup home again. Now, that was all part of her message. Wales and Scotland are playing in that tournament in addition to England, but were not mentioned in the message. And therein lies the problem. Princess Kate said, "Hello, everyone. I want to take a moment to wish the Red Roses, the rugby team, the best of luck at Rugby World Cup in New Zealand. I had so much fun with you all in Twickenham earlier this year, and I cannot wait to see how you get on during the tournament." And this comes it comes days after William, the Prince of Wales, has met privately with the coach of the England football team to discuss his team's preparation for the World Cup, where they will play Wales. But William, and this is another clip from the article, says, but William remains avidly committed to his role with England's footballing team and will remain regular fixture cheering on England, despite taking on the honorary title of Prince of Wales, according to the Telegraph newspaper. And therein lies your whole problem. Because Kate Middleton has sent a message to the England team, the Red Roses. The problem with that is Wales is also playing in that tournament. Scotland is also playing in that tournament. Her message, she sent no message to the Wales team, and she sent no message to the Scottish team. And on top of that, she just became the Princess of Wales. That is the huge problem. She just became the Princess of Wales. And nowhere in her message, no one on the Wales team or the Scottish team got a message from her. Only England. And so now Wales is like, wait a minute. You just took we didn't want you to have this title. Just gave you a title representing our country. Our team is playing in that same tournament, and you did not have the I don't know, pick a word, to send a message and include the Wales team and the Scottish team, and you all want us to stay with your country, and we don't want us to have our independence. Meanwhile, here is again, and William with the World Cup He is meeting with the England. I mean, yeah, he's the president of the FA and all that stuff, but he is going to be supporting England, and England is going to be playing Wales, and Prince William is now the Prince of Wales. Nobody at Kensington Palace realized this was a problem before Kate did her, first little, public address or whatever you want to call it, sending it to the England rugby team. Did nobody at Kensington Palace realize this was a problem before she did this video? And that's the thing about, you think about these titles. This stuff doesn't mean anything to them. They're just collecting titles. The people of these places, they don't really care about. No matter how many times they go and try to, oh yeah, we're coming to shake hands and, coming to shake hands and smile and, oh, hello, and play with your cute kids so they can, to make them look like they're doing something and they can have all the publicity and all the photos and the pretty photos. The fact that you just got crowned the Prince of Wales, the Princess of Wales and the Prince of Wales, and it didn't register in your mind that sending a message of congratulations or whatever and goodwill to just England would be a problem? I mean, the courtiers at Kensington Palace couldn't figure out that this would be an issue. And not only that, the day before, we talked about this on October 4th, a counselor is to submit a motion calling on Gwynedd not to recognize the Prince of Wales and to shelf plans for an investiture. Wales was already having a problem with this title. They were already having a problem with it. And so this minister on the 4th, and we talked about this, he's like, no, we need to vote to get rid of this title. This is an insult to our country. And then this is on the 6th, the day before Princess Kate did her little video message. Gwynedd said no to the Prince of Wales. Authority votes against another investiture and says titles should be abolished. That's right. The day before she did this, and that is how much they're not paying attention. If I know the day before I am going to make this video or, at least post this video or send this video to Wales, if I am paying attention, would I not know that the ministers in Wales are voting that this isn't an issue? My having a title Princess of Wales or Prince of Wales is an issue for the people of Wales. This is a big issue, and how they feel insulted by the fact that a British person is having a princess, in a British monarchy is having a Prince of Wales and Princess of Wales title. They want it abolished. They're having issues with this. And if you are paying attention to the people of Wales, this would be right in front of your face, that you would know before you send that video, like, oh, I need to include Wales in this. Scotland was just marching, and Wales were marching for their independence last weekend. I would know, oh, Scotland is also playing in this tournament. Wales is playing in this tournament. I need to include them, and not just the English team. But again, the incompetence of the people at Kensington Palace to not be, Again, this happened on the 6th, the day before Kate sent that video, or they posted that video. And this is a little bit about what the minister was saying, why they need to get rid of this title. It says at the bottom on the left, it says, this archaic oppressive tradition is a blight on our nation and has been for centuries. It gives the impression that the people of Wales are owned by the system rather than being free citizens living in our own country. It is holding us back from stepping out independently and making our own way in the world. In my view, this is the time for the people of Wales to be given the opportunity to make our voice heard and abolish this insulting title passed on from gentry as a continued oppressive symbol on our land and our people. And I totally agree with him. I totally agree with him. It is insulting that you just got the, named the Queen, the Princess of Wales, and he is the Prince of Wales, and you put out a video just supporting England, and they're supposed to do what about that? They're supposed to do what about that? So I hope the Wales strip them of this title. I hope they just get rid of this, abolish this title, because again, just the same way how, that horrendously, charmless, offensive tour that they did in the Caribbean, once again, Kensington Palace and its staff are not paying attention. They are not clued into what is going on in these countries. So they just do this. I mean, talk about unforced errors. These people are clueless about what's going on in the countries that they claim to be about. Again, if you were paying attention, I'm not in the UK, I'm not part of any of this, but if I know, why do Kensington Palace and their people not know this? It is such gross incompetence. It is unreal to me. I hope they get stripped of this. This is gross. I hope to see the people of Wales and the people of Scotland back on the street protesting until this is stripped. Again, one couldn't, you couldn't fail to notice how quickly Kensington Palace was quick to put up the Prince of Wales title the moment it was announced. That title went up on their social media like they would knock everybody over to post that title, Princess of Wales. Yet this shows me that they do not care about the people of Wales at all. This is just about, I have another title. It's a cool title. This is what it's about. It's and then they go and then they shake hands and smile and have pretty pictures, and that's it for them. So it's just, oh my goodness. I saw that, I was like, just banish the whole thing, abolish the whole thing. This is ridiculous. So anyways, moving on from Kensington Palace and their nonsense. On to another royal family, as we've been talking about, the Danish royal family. They too are a mess, Again, before this whole thing happening with Queen Marguerite stripping her four grandsons from her second son, from her second son's family, stripping their prince and princess titles from the two only biracial kids, and then their younger brother and sister, stripping them of their prince and princess titles. I'd never really heard about these people before. But now I'm all ears as to what's going on in there. And very interesting, as we know, Queen Marguerite, who's been queen for 50 years or whatever. She's like 80, I guess now. She stripped their title. Well, at least it's going to be stripped at the end of the year. And so I think beginning in January, they're no longer going to have their prince and princess title. They're going to be termed as excellency or something, come January. And so she stripped them. And her thing is like, I'm trying to future-proof the monarchy. And I want these four kids to be able to mop out their own future where they're not tied to the monarchy. And they, because apparently the monarchy have all these strict rules and stuff that they have to do if they're going to be, if they're going to be holding the prince and princess titles and all that mess. So she stripped them of it, wanting them to be able to carve out their own path and, and that be their life. And so the Guardian picked up the story, it went through all of that stuff, and then it picked up this. And here are some little clips that from this story that's a little different, further. I guess it goes a little bit further than just the basic story. It says, while this logic may have been consistent, however, the palace plainly did not count on the reaction of an emotional Prince Joachim. He complained to the Danish reporters in Paris, where he has been Denmark's defense attaché since 2020, that the children don't understand and has been mistreated, and Dave said a whole lot of other stuff, you know, that the whole family really was shocked and distressed, and the little girl is getting bullied, and they feel like, you know, the ground has basically been ripped out of them. They have taken their names and identity. So basically the kids are crushed. This whole family is crushed from what the queen's decision. And we know that the queen so-called apologize, which is really wasn't an apology, you know, basically trying to, you know, get the press off of her back, you know. And so, but she hasn't, you know, she stuck with her decision to strip them of their title. So the article goes on in this little clip. It says Joaquin also allegedly, tellingly, that he had been informed of the decision by a senior court official rather than his mother only 5 days earlier. He claimed that he had been warned in May his children risked being stripped of their titles when they turned 25, but he had asked for time to come back with a proposal of his own. And apparently they did not wait for his proposal. They went ahead 5 days later and, you know, announced. And the thing that is important here is that this did not come from his mother. It came from a senior court official. Sounds very much the way the royal family in England work. Yeah. And I think this has been the big sticking point where his mother didn't even have the decency to call him and gather the family together, talk to the kids personally. She didn't even have the decency to do that. You know, a court official, like one of those courtiers in the UK, is the one that delivered the news to him. And so everything blew up. And it goes on to say, and he said that unfortunately, and he said that he had unfortunately not spoken to the Queen or his elder brother Frederick since the announcement, adding that that's also family, or whatever one calls it. For her part, Marie describes the couple's relationship with the crown prince and his wife as complicated. So Joaquin's brother and his family, and Frederick's family, who is the crown prince, and Joaquin's family, their relationship is now complicated. And then going on further in the article, it says, there have been hints too that Marguerite was not the warmest of mothers. Weilman, I guess someone named Weilman, who wrote a best-selling biography of the Queen, said Joaquin and Frederick were raised by their nanny on the top floor of the palace. Margaret hardly went up there. They weren't allowed to come down to dinner until they were 4 or 5. And it's just like, you know, how, from what I've gathered from this family, this Danish, they were like the perfect family, and, you know, just a very popular, perfect family. And so now all of this stuff is coming out. And now you understand there's a little bit about the relationship between Joaquin and his mother. I mean, you know, talking about cold, you know, she's talking about not the warmest mothers. I mean, they were raised upstairs on the top floor of the palace, and she hardly ever went there. And they weren't allowed to come down to dinner until they were. And it's just like, oh my gosh, you know. And, you know, again, you know, as Joaquin is saying, Prince Joaquin is saying that his mother didn't even have the decency to call him and tell him about this. She allowed a senior staff member to do it instead of her. You know, and to hear her talk about as a mother and as a grandmother, and that's why, you know, it's like, that statement, one, it wasn't an apology, and you were just trying to get the press off your back. Why? Because they were calling her the Ice Queen. And from the look at it, that description definitely fits. And again, you know, with monarchy, that's the thing I'm always talking about. When it has to do with the monarchy, whether queen or whomever, they always put the monarchy before family. And whenever you put the monarchy before your family, nothing good has ever come out of it. Nothing. And families are left destroyed. And one of the things they also talked about in the article, and I just thinking, if it was her father or if it was Queen Margaret's husband, who he at one point left and moved to France or something because he was just so demoralized about him not being king, or at least he was like prince consort, sort of like what Prince Philip was. And he was just really demoralized that he just felt like a second class citizen basically in his own family, and went away for a while. And so now I'm just like, was that her father or was that her husband? I'm not, all of a sudden I'm like, and I should have brought it in so I could, because I kind of read that part quickly. And so, but it is just the same. It's the same pattern. And I said all that to say it's the same pattern that you see with the British royals. The same pattern, the same, withdrawn or coldness in the relationships between the mom and her kids, because her mind is, I've got to take care of this monarchy and I got to take care, and ooh, my headphones just fell off my ears. um, but it's funny because after reading all this, it reminded me of this when Jonathan Dimblby's book, The Prince of Wales, came out. This is, and if you don't know, I mean, you should know by now, but this is a book where Prince Charles co-wrote with Jonathan Dimblby about his life. And part of that book is him basically trashing his mother and father. And, people talk about Harry. Oh, Harry is trashing the monarchy. He's trashing his father. I was like, no, Harry has done nothing of the kind. Prince Charles did. And so at the time when it was serialized, at the time, they gave out excerpts of the book before it came out. The Independent wrote a little bit about it, and it's a very long article, but or at least not very, very long. I guess it's a long article, but part of the article, it talks about specifically what Prince Charles, his relationship with his parents. It says, what is most striking about the extracts from Jonathan Dimblby's new authorized biography is the extent to which they portray this middle-aged man as an emotionally stunted little boy, and he still is. The heir to the throne is bogged down by unresolved resentments left over from early boyhood. It is abundantly clear that Charles did not feel the effects of a loving father and mother, and he considered his parents, in the word of the child psychologist Bruno Mattelheim, to have not been good enough. Dimblby, with Charles's approval, accused the Queen of being physically and emotionally distant. But his deepest anger is reserved for the Duke of Edinburgh, who is described as harsh, hectoring, and deeply irked by his son's solemn and oversensitive nature. Prince Charles blames his father for sending him to Gordonstoun and the Scottish public school, where he was beaten up, bullied, and abused. And he accused Prince Philip of forcing him into marriage with a woman he scarcely knew and never loved. And obviously that was Princess Diana. But yeah, it really, when I read that about his Prince Joaquin's relationship with his mom, and again, I didn't check out his relationship with his father. I would have, I think his father died quite a few years ago. So, and I hadn't read that guy's book that they mentioned. So, so I don't know what his relationship with his father. I know just from the little bit I've read that he does not have a good relationship, it seemed, with his mother at all. And again, from childhood when she was not really there and they were raised by nannies, to now where something as big and as just damaging as stripping your children's, basically their name from them. And, personally don't care about titles, but for them, the titles mean everything to them. It's how they identify and all of that stuff. And so it means so much to them to have that just stripped out. And then the indignity of not your mother not even having the courtesy to call you or sit you down and talk. She should literally have met face to face. She should have done whatever she needs to do to meet face to face with her son and his children and his whole family, including the two older boys who, again, are biracial, and their mother. She should have had meetings with all of them. That would have been the human and decent thing to do. She did not even have the courtesy to give this man a phone call. before doing it, and then let her senior courtier do it. And I mean, and then they're like shocked that everything blew up. I mean, how could it not blow up? So again, it's just that the relation, especially when it comes to a second son, because the second son or the second child is the spare. We see the same behavior with Prince William and Prince Harry. We see it's the same thing, the same patterns playing out, and so it is. Again, it's just this the same, coldness. Mom is queen, very cold, very distant, is the same experience that Charles had. And again, I don't know for the husband, so I don't want to just blame Queen Margaret. Put it all on her, because well, what has the father been doing? So I don't know, because I hadn't checked yet. I will check into their relationship and I'll come back with that later. But for this part, again, he does mention Prince Charles has mentioned the Queen being cold, physically and emotionally distant. No wonder, Prince Charles is like he is, where he basically buries himself at work the majority of the time to, when left his two boys to basically raise themselves, and nanny raised them, or his courtiers raised them. And so this is the same pattern you're seeing, and but again, his harshest critique was to his father, who Prince Philip was brutal. He was an abusive man in so many different things. I'm reading about Prince Philip, his anger, his abusiveness. It's just like, he literally did that to Prince Charles. He abused them. And so it's just, again, we go back to how they report on these things. Nobody really ever called Prince. Actually, I saw a video where I think it was Penny Jr. Was saying that Prince Philip bullied Prince Charles. So that was the only time I've ever heard someone use that word describing Prince Philip, but I think it was Penny Jr. I could be wrong, but I think it was Penny Jr. who said that he bullied him. But yeah, he definitely did not have, and in the end, when Prince Philip passed away, I guess they had part of their relationship healed. I think it seemed like that way, or maybe it's just because he knew he was passing. So a lot of maybe that anger and whatever Prince Charles was feeling went out. I guess when you know that someone is coming to the end of their life, you put certain feelings aside, I guess, and then you just focus on just whatever time you have. So with that person to repair or to heal in some way. But anyways, very interesting. Absolutely very interesting. But we're going to change and leave the royals alone. Whew, just come down from that a bit. It's a little bit of a music. Just get away from that. All right. Moving on. So we're going to end it with back to a little bit of more positivity, back to Archwell. Just a reminder again, as we were talking from the beginning, if you have a 14 to 18-year-old, or if you email, send this information to them so that they get to participate in the Archwell Foundation and Ving project, helping women in need. So I just wanted to come back to it just to remind us, check out the community page for the link, or check out the show notes of this video, so that way you will you will have that and you'll be able to share it. Know it for yourself and then be able to share it. So kudos again to Meghan, ending this on a positive note. I'm like, after we've been in Shutter Island, we just need to end with Meghan and think archetypes, archetypes, archetypes. Maybe we should do a poll as well. So put in your, that's what we'll do. If you can I'll do it on our community page. I'll do a community page. I'll copy, Royal_reporter. I'm not going to use her same things, but we can decide what we think are the topics that Meghan is going to do for the next one. That'd be kind of a cool thing. So you can just put it in our in the community page. I'll do a little post there, and we'll see if we can come up with what she'll talk about next. That would be awesome. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. When I post this, hopefully our moderators, not sure who is going to be on, mostly Lydia, but our moderators are Lydia, Church Nelly, Karen M, Julia Rock, Cookies and Cream. All may be on, or some may be on, but either way, these awesome moderators keep our space safe. Keep it safe from trolls, and that we can talk and share and do whatever in a wonderful, safe community. So thank you so much to our awesome moderators, and thank you so much for our to our absolutely awesome 2 Cents Crew members. Thank you so much. I'm gonna actually take off this banner for a second. So okay, it wasn't blocking anything. I thought it was blocking. So our 2 Cents Crew members who support the channel monthly, thank you out of the kindness of their hearts. So thank you so much for your support, and also to all of our supporters who support, whether it's via super chats, super thanks, super stickers, PayPal, Cash App, merchandise, all of those things. Thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate you so much. I'm still working on a name for the Gold Star supporters, but we'll see. We'll get there hopefully. But thank you guys so much for all of your support. I appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please do what the little scrolly thing on the bottom says. Subscribe to our channel. We are over 5,000 and very, very excited. Hopefully getting to 6,000 very soon. Please like this video, and please share it with your friends and family, so that we can have a lot of views, and so that more people sign up. And also you can join our channel, where again you support us monthly. And so I appreciate all of you so much for just being here. I look forward to being in the chat with you later on today when I drop this video. And this is not a live. And I get this a lot, this is not a live, but it's a video. But I will be in the chat with you, and we can chat and gab about whatever, this topics or whatever else you want to talk about. That would be awesome as well. So anyway, guys, we are going to get out of here back to some Inner Space music. If I can only find it. Where is my Inner Space? Oh, here we go. Yes, there we go. We're going to end this with some Inner Space music. There we go. Yeah, I am back here. All right, everybody, enjoy your Saturday evening. I will see you again next time. I love you all, and I will see you or talk to you soon. Bye.